Hi guys, welcome. Kia Sangria here. Thank you guys so much for joining the stream today. Like I had mentioned in my previous video, we're going to be working on the Butterick B5935 pattern. We're going to be making a really cute corset top. As of right now, I've already cut out my pattern pieces. But if you have not, or if you're following along at home, you're going to want to start by taking your bust measurement. So you'll use your measuring tape and you'll measure the widest part around your bust. So here's an example of what that looks like. Just going to take your measuring tape and then measure around here. I recommend that you do this without a bra just to ensure that you're getting an accurate measurement for the garment. So the very first thing that we're going to do for this pattern is we're actually going to go ahead and make the mock-up. This is super important because if you cut into your main fabric and you find that it doesn't fit, it's either too small or too big, your garment won't fit right and you'll have wasted fabric. So we're going to make a mock-up. I have some really cheap cotton here that I'm going to use for this process. And the greatest thing about making a mock-up for a corset, in my opinion, is that if you find that the piece you make fits, you can actually just go ahead and turn that into the lining of the piece itself, because we don't waste fabric over here. I know I don't. So if I find that my mock-up fits correctly for something like this, I'll just go ahead and use that mock-up and turn it into the lining. So I'm going to start by looking at the pattern instructions just to see how they want the fabric laid out. And to be clear, we're going to be making view A. So we're going to be making this one right here. So let's see. Very important to look at the instructions for your pattern just to make sure that you're cutting the fabric out correctly, because if you fail to do this, you may find that you've cut the pattern out so wrong that the amount of fabric that you needed actually wasn't enough for the fabric. Wasn't enough for the project itself. So I'm just going to make sure that we're reviewing the instructions here. And let's see. One moment. Okay. So we're going to take piece number 1. And I guess I'll lay the pattern pieces this way so that you guys can see what I'm doing here. I hope everyone had a really good Thanksgiving. Mine was a whirlwind of different things. So I'm going to take my scissors here because it seems that I didn't cut the pattern piece all the way. And I ironed my pattern pieces before I got started here because I just wanted to make sure that they would lay flat. Failure to do this can sometimes result in something not fitting you correctly. So make sure to iron out your pieces. It's just an extra step that just really helps you get the end result that you want. So I'm going to go ahead and pin piece 1 to my fabric. And, so how was your Thanksgiving? Hi, Honey Fro Cosplay. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. It's really great to have you. How was your Thanksgiving? Did you do anything fun? Thanksgiving was definitely, yeah, exhausting, honestly, over here too. Just for like some background, I had to take my grandmother to the hospital because she wasn't feeling well. So it was really just like, it was a moment. Okay, so according to this pattern now, I'm going to take piece number 4. I'm going to lay that out. This is really weird how they want me to do this, because if I do it lengthwise like this, it's not going to work. Okay, I think I'm going to deviate a little bit from how I'm supposed to cut the pattern out. Don't tell anyone. I'm going to actually go ahead, since that was piece number 1, I'm actually going to go ahead with piece number 2 and pin that to the fabric now. So again, I don't recommend deviating from the pattern, but you know what? This is a mock-up, so we have a chance to get it wrong. It's going to be fine. It's not going to be the end of the world. I'm just going to pin this piece to the pattern. And I hope that I'm quick enough to get through the mock-up tonight. I cooked for like 2 days and didn't get a rest day. Power to you. I only cook very little for Thanksgiving. It's really exhausting. I appreciate now that I'm older the work that goes into making a Thanksgiving meal because that is some intense labor and I'm not really down for it. I will be down to eat though. What did you make? My favorite Thanksgiving meal is the mac and cheese. Well, the mac and cheese and the yams. Both of those things together, chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. All right. So what basically going to do is I'm just going to pin the pieces to the fabric in order here. So you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm not going to go through the specifics here. I'm really excited to make this pattern. So full disclaimer, I've actually used this pattern I used it previously, but I didn't have the skills necessary to make it. And so I ruined the entire thing. So for me, I'm coming back to this pattern 6 years later. Yeah, 6 years later, with more knowledge of how. Hi, Kara Cosplay. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm coming back to this pattern with more knowledge than I had before. So I'm hoping that I can take this pattern on and actually make something cool from it. I'm really, really hoping that this goes well. I've made a corset before, and you guys have seen it on my Instagram. I've made like a few, but I think my fear with this pattern comes from the fact that I tried it before and I just could not figure it out. So now I'm trying again. And if anybody else is watching out here and you've had a pattern that you tried to make and it just didn't come out right, I implore you to try it again. You know, especially when you have more skill and you've leveled up a bit. Greens, homemade yeast rolls, mac and cheese dressing, nutter butter cheesecake, and apple dumplings and a turkey. Oh my gosh, that's a whole feast. Gold star for you, because there's no way I would have spent time trying to make all that. I can't do that at all. I can cook. I actually went to culinary arts high school. Funny story, when they asked me, oh, well, why do you want to come to this high school? I literally told them, like, I really just want to eat. Like, honestly, that's literally what I want. There was another school that I wanted to go to, which was like a fashion high school. I don't remember the name of it, but I obviously didn't make it in. But that's fine because I still made it here to stream in front of you guys with my little sewing machine. So you know what? Either way, I am proud of how far I've come, even though I'm not on the path that I thought that I would be on at this point in my life. I'm quite happy with where I am right here in this moment with you guys. So moving along, the last piece to pin is actually going to be piece number 4. All right, so I'm gonna have to do this one the long way. So I'm just feeding this fabric over the table right now. Let's see how we're gonna make this one work. Best answer, yeah, as always, to eat. Yeah, I had to be honest. I just wanted to eat. But it was a very interesting experience going to culinary art school because I got to see how like businesses are run. What kind of fabric are you using? I am using, well, for this mock-up, this is cotton. This is just some cheap cotton I had lying around. But my main fabric is actually going to be this Sailor Moon fabric. It's kind of got like a Gucci print. So this is going to be the main fabric, the fashion layer in this case of the corset. But before I can cut into this, because it was like $23 a yard, it's very expensive, I actually have to make the mock-up first out of this black cotton here. If this mock-up works out, then I will actually be using this as the lining for the corset because we don't waste fabric around here. Okay, we don't waste fabric at all. So if the mock-up works out, the mock-up then becomes the lining. Thank you guys so much. I you know what? I stumbled upon this fabric when I was just shopping on Etsy. Because even though I have a partnership with Fabric Wholesale Direct, I do support a lot of mom and pop fabric shops, which can be found on Etsy. And that's where I get my patterns too. The pattern that I'm particularly using, which is this Butterick pattern here with the corset top, I actually bought this on Etsy. And I think I paid about $6 or $7 for the pattern itself. So if you're shopping for patterns, I do encourage you to definitely check out Simplicity and McCall's websites. But if you can, go to Etsy, type in the pattern number. You can usually find a small seller that's selling the pattern you want at a much cheaper price than what it's listed on their website. I am a big supporter of McCall's and Simplicity, and I absolutely love their patterns. But I also believe in supporting mom and pop shops too when I can. So I get a lot of my patterns from there. And the seller that I got this fabric from is on Etsy, but it came originally from Spoonflower. So you know what? After I've uploaded this video, I'll go ahead and leave a link to that listing in the description box in case any of you guys want to go out and purchase the fabric for something. It's very cute. It is a little bit on the expensive side. So my advice is to just make sure that one, you really want this fabric, and two, um, you understand what it is that you're making and possibly make a mock-up for whatever it is you're making, because the fabric, I think I paid like $23 for, so it was very expensive. And again, like, don't want to ruin fabric, especially fabric that's, is as expensive as that. So mock-ups are really important for this reason. So I've pinned all of my pattern pieces, or at least the ones that I need for my mock-up, to my fabric. So I'm actually going to just go ahead and start cutting now. So the scissors that I use are these really cute titanium sewing scissors. You can get these at your local craft store, probably Joann's, fabric.com, but I find these to cut really well. And this came in a pack of 3, but I've been using this one religiously. I should get a scissor sharpener too because it's starting to dull out on me, but whatever. So I'm just going to go ahead and start cutting this out. And yeah, if we can, it's 6:12 right now, so we're making great timing. Possibly we can get to sewing the mock-up tonight, which would be great because I'm really, really excited about making this with you guys. And I don't know, I'm really excited. Like, if I could master this pattern, I will be really happy because, again, I tried it before. I didn't have the skill to, actually make it properly. So I feel like right now I have like another chance at figuring this out and making something beautiful from this pattern. And I've seen like corset tops be like a big hit this year. And so I really want to get in on like that fashion action. That was cheesy. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just going to cut the edges off. And then I'll put this piece to the side. I love a good pair of scissors will change your life, guys. I love the way these like scissors cut. My favorite scissors to use. Okay, so that's one piece done. That's great. I'm just gonna get rid of this, keep this place as clean as possible. Okay, so let's go. Cutting for me is so like hard because I'm left-handed, so using my right hand to like cut, it's kind of hellish for me. Downright sucks. So if I'm cutting weird, guys, it's literally because I have no other choice. But I wanted you guys to be able to see like what I go through when I make things. So here you are. I hope you enjoy this show because you're gonna see some weird faces on me. Because these are the faces that you're gonna see in this stream is what you get if you were just watching me like on a regular basis try to make something. I'm not a graceful seamstress. I don't think there's any such thing. I feel like you kind of have to have faces of disgust and adoration and all those things when you're making something, because sometimes I start making something, guys, and I'm just like, oh crap, like, is this gonna come out the right way? This is looking scary. And then like it's all okay after that. And that's kind of the feelings I felt with like making that costume for Ichigo from Tokyo Mew Mew. Like when I was making it and I had to modify the pattern, I was just like, oh my god, like, is this gonna come out the way that I need it to? Like, what if this is just all the way wrong? What if it doesn't fit? what if it just doesn't bang? But you guys liked it, and I really do appreciate the love on it because that character has meant so much to me since like forever, because I found Tokyo Mew Mew at a time when like Sailor Moon merchandise was just really hard to come by, and as much as I loved Sailor Moon, I just couldn't indulge in anything Sailor Moon because like it was impossible to find manga for it, and even more impossible to find like, you know, VHS copies of like the American dub. So when Sailor Moon couldn't be there for me, Tokyo Mew Mew was, and I finally just fulfilled my dream of cosplaying Ichigo. So I am absolutely ecstatic about being able to do that, like completely. Okay, this is the front. Oh my gosh, I get so nervous when cutting things because like pieces look so weird to me. I just looked at the piece and I'm just like, what is that? What's going on? And I don't have a backup plan if this pattern doesn't work. But we're doing the mock-up first to see, you know, how it's going to work out. But I have other corset patterns, so if we have to change the pattern that we're working with, we're just going to have to do that, okay? There is no shame in my game when admitting that something doesn't work out, because I'm not a professional at this. I'm literally just sharing what I know. And, you know, if something doesn't work out, doesn't work out. I'm not going to try to save face. It just didn't work out. I just can't, you know, figure out this pattern. But I feel really good this time, so hopefully this will come out the way that I've been envisioning it for the past few weeks. Okay, so I'm down to 2 pattern pieces. So let's do this. And once again, thank you guys so much for like showing up tonight and like watching your girls do her first little stream. I was so nervous this entire day. Like I'm working from home right now still because of the pandemic, but like throughout my work day, I was like, maybe I should just cancel this. I don't know if I'm ready. Like I am so nervous. What if nobody shows up? And you know what? Like you guys showed up, and for me, that's a win. And I really do appreciate all of you being here. Like seriously, I spent so many weeks talking about this. I'm just like, damn, people must be really tired of me. Like they're probably tired of hearing about this damn sewing stream. Like we get it, Kia. We're doing a sewing stream. But I have so much that I want to give like the cosplay community because I've learned so much from so many people, and I want to, you know, give back. But I also know for me too, like cosplay is not everything that I do. Like I do other things too. Like I just made, you know, a wool coat. I made a shirt. So sewing for cosplay is not like exclusively what I do. Like I make things for other aspects of my life, and you know, one of those aspects is fashion. I absolutely love fashion. So I was really excited to like, you know, when I got this idea, I was like, what if I showed people like how to sew, and they could sew these things for cosplay, but it was more like, you know, not just like a cosplay based stream. I also wanted to stream something that was beginner friendly because I've spoken to people online and they're like, oh, I want to learn how to sew, but it's so hard. I learned how to sew from YouTube. That's how I got to where I am right now. And, you know, I want to be able to encourage more people to like pick up the needle and thread because it is so fun. Like, even when something doesn't come out the way that you want it to, there's so much that you could learn that you could apply to like the next project. And I think that that's really incredible. And so that's something that I want to share with you guys. So, as of now, we have cut out all of the pieces for this corset pattern. We've cut out everything we need. So now we can actually get started on sewing the mock-up. So you guys are going to see me on my machine tonight. Awesome. So to get started, I'm just going to clean up my space here. I don't need this. I don't need that. This I'll keep. Instructions I'll keep. Instructions are very important to keep on. That's my pins. All right, so let's see about this machine. I do have some thread here. My machine is currently not threaded. The bobbin is in it, but I need to thread it. So I'm actually going to do that with you guys right now. Okay. I am using the Brother CE707, wait, 7070 PRW machine. Oh my gosh. This is one of their little like project runway machines. I've had her since I want to say 2014. She's a really good machine too. I absolutely love working with this one. Recently just acquired another one, which will be here very soon. But she's easy to thread, she's smooth, and she works really good. I already have a new needle in here, but I'll be honest with you guys, I do not change my needle with each project. I know everyone says, oh, change your needle with each project. I don't do that. I just don't do that. I'm not even going to sit here and like pretend with you guys that I'm like a seamstress that abides by all of the rules of sewing, because I really don't think that there are any. However you get there is however you get there. I don't care how you get there. You know, it's different for everyone. So before I start, ooh, what happened just now? Whoops. Somehow my cord got knocked out. Wonder what that's about. Anyway, as I was saying, however you get to the end of your project is how you get there. I'm a firm believer in doing things, you know, however they work for you. So I'm just going to test the machine really quick just to make sure this is sewing properly on a piece of like scrap fabric here. And for my stitch length and width, I'm just going to put this on my loosest stitch length. So let's see. Okay, so it looks like the top and bottom are sewn quite nicely. There's no issues here, so that's great. So I think now we can go ahead and start pinning the pieces of our corset together. So let's take a look at the instructions here. Okay, stay stitch edges of middle front and front sections above the waist. So that calls for piece number 1 and piece number 2. So we're going to be working with these two pieces right now. So stay stitch edges of middle front and sections above the waist, pin middle front sections to front, clipping where necessary. Stitch. Okay. So one of the things about this pattern that I should let you guys know is that for piece number 1, it's, hold on, make sure I read this correctly before I give you guys the wrong instructions. Piece number 1 and piece number 2. Okay, so it's piece number 2. So for piece number 2, it asks you to cut this on the fold so that it's all one piece. I didn't do this because in my corsets, I like having boning on the middle section. So for me, I like having boning in my lining. And so because I plan to use this as the lining, if it works out, I cut 2 pieces of piece number 2, which I'm going to just sew a straight seam. That way I have a channel for the boning. But if you were watching this and you're following along with the pattern, then make sure that you cut piece number 2 on the fold, unless you want like the look that I'm after, which is to have that extra support with the boning in the center seam. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually just going to take the pins out of piece number 2. So I can put that pattern piece away over here. And I'm just going to sew down the center seam, just because I will be placing some boning over there. And you'll get to see boning once we get to that part. And by the way, if you're interested in like any of the materials needed to make this item, if you check out the last video where I announced the stream, you will be able to find a list of all the materials that you'll need to make this. So I'm just going to go ahead with my machine and sew this down the center middle seam with a seam allowance of 3/8 of an inch. So this is my front piece. It looks like this. So all I did was sew these two pieces together so that I have a center seam here to attach my boning to. So now that that step is complete, we are going to sew pieces 1 to either side of the front of the corset. So let's take all the pins out of this pattern piece here. And just put that back here for now. Looks like this was not cut properly. There we go. Okay, so we have our 2 front pieces here. And I'm just going to pin them to the center seam. Let's see. Okay. I like working with patterns because it's kind of like putting a puzzle together. It's pretty fun for me, actually, guys. So let's just pin these together. And I'm using standard pins on this fabric just because it's cotton. But if you were working with a fabric like satin or taffeta or something else that's like very delicate, you would use satin pins. But for patterns I've never used before, I prefer working with cotton first. It gives me a little bit more room for error. And I'm really, really hoping that this comes out the way that I am envisioning it, because I've already envisioned and made plans to wear this cute little Sailor Moon top with like a sweater or some other like type of long sleeve shirt. So, you know, pray for me, guys, that this comes out the way that like I need it to come out. And for a lot of people, like sewing corsets can be scary, but honestly, guys, if you can sew a straight line, you can make one of these. It's really not hard. It just takes a lot of precision, and it takes a lot of messing up too. That's what mock-ups are for. You know, part of the reason why I never really wanted to make one was because I was afraid of like messing up. But once you get over your fear of like messing up, you can really do everything, guys. Fear of messing up is actually what's kept me from streaming like a long time ago, because I just like, you know, what if my stream doesn't come out right? You know, what if it's just trash? I've reached a point where I'm just like, you know what? Maybe trash, might not be that great, but it's mine and it's an opportunity to get better. And one day I'm going to come back to this stream and these videos and be like, wow, I was really like streaming sewing things in my hallway, because this is literally my hallway that I'm in, right, guys? Like right behind my computer is like my front door to my apartment. So if you needed the push to know to start where you are and use whatever it is that you have at your disposal to get there, as long as you just start. So I've gone ahead and pinned the front pieces of the corset to the middle. So I'm just going to sew these down the side seams here to form the front. So this mock-up is slowly coming together, guys. I'm kind of excited. I'm a little nervous too, because I'm just like, oh God, like what if I still didn't get it right after all these years? Hey, thanks for joining. Really hope that I can like conquer this. First of all, if if I make this and it comes out bomb, I'm just gonna make a whole bunch of these, okay? Like in different fabrics and different colors. Like no one is gonna be able to tell me nothing if this comes out like bomb, okay? Because I'm doing it. I'm doing it. And I'm so excited. Moving ahead into the new year too, when I'm not sewing for cosplay, I really want to, continue to utilize like these sewing skills so that I can, make bigger and like better things. But I'm thankful for cosplay because if it wasn't for cosplay, I wouldn't even be here right now, which is the reason why like I want to do things to help people in the cosplay community that, want to learn how to sew and make things, but they just don't know where to start. Like Kia's got you covered. Kia's making things. She's got you covered. And you guys are gonna see my failures. You're gonna see my wins. Like you're gonna see everything because I want you guys to know, like, nobody just pops out being good at this, okay? Like I still have so much that like I need to learn and all these things, but we can learn together, and that's like the funnest part about it. Like we can figure this out together. We don't all have to know how to do it, but if we work together, we can make some amazing things, okay? We can make some really amazing things. All right, guys. So here's our front. Here's the front. It's coming along. I'm scared, but it's coming. It's getting there. Okay, so we've sewn pieces 1 and 2 together. So let's see what they want us to do with piece number 3. Now there is a couple of other things that you need to do with this pattern, like some stay stitching and stuff, but because we're working on the mock-up, we're not going to do that tonight. We're just going to try to get through it, see how it fits, figure out if there's any adjustments we need to make, or if we need to move to a different pattern. So we're just going to skip all that. We're just going to try to put this together to see exactly what type of fit we're going to get. Once we figure that out, then we can do all the nitty gritty stay stitching and things like that they want us to do. But for now, we're just going to try to put this together. So for piece number 3, you're going to pin side front to middle front. Okay. So that would be this piece right here. Side front to middle front. Okay. Sounds easy enough. So just put this pattern piece back here for now. And we're going to pin this together. So let's see. Okay, so side seams with corsets are sometimes hard for me because like I'm trying to look at how it's supposed to match up. And okay, got it. Sometimes I have to do a double take, guys. Make sure I'm putting it in the right place, but oh my gosh, I'm so nervous, guys. I hope this comes out the way that I hope it does. And by the way, guys, this stream is only 1 hour. I'm only asking you for 1 hour of your time to spend with little old me. So once 8 o'clock hits, we will put a pin in it, pun intended. And we will come back to this stream. I want to say we will come back to this stream Thursday. How does Thursday at 7 p.m. sound to you guys? Let me know if that works for you. I think I might want to come back around then. The projects that we make in these streams will be exclusive to these streams. So guys, wherever I leave off tonight, that's where we're going to come back to for the next stream. Okay. I'm not going to make this item without you guys being with me. Okay. Because we're doing it together. Or you can just come through and vibe out with your girl while she makes things. But these are for us. This is our time. So this project is just for us. And that's it. And I believe YouTube is recording the stream. So if it is, and I hope it is, you will be able to find this on my channel within a few days. If you are following along or if you're interested in following along. I will try to make sure that there's a video available for you to watch, you know, after each stream is done. I want you guys to be able to learn something from this and, you know, come back to it later if like you need to. Okay, so I think I've pinned this the way that they wanted. So let's pull the machine back over here and let's put these side seams together. See how we can get that laid. And once again, thank everybody for showing up tonight. I really appreciate having you guys here to watch me work on this. Even if only one person like showed up, it's a win for me. So to have all of you guys here right now means a lot. I really appreciate the support and I appreciate the encouragement. And if you have any further questions for me regarding this project, you can hit me up on my Facebook page. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. You could also leave a comment on one of my videos, but I'm more than happy to help you guys with whatever project you're working on. Even if it's not similar to this, I'm more than happy to help. And, you know, if I don't have an answer for you, then I am totally down to find you somebody else who might. Let's see what's going on with my thread over here. Oops. Had my thread backwards. I'm sorry about that, guys. My machine's like, girl. Like, what are you doing? Why is it like this? Fix this. This ain't cool. I think I'm gonna have to give you guys like a tutorial on like how to use your sewing machine and how to like diagnose when your machine is trying to tell you something. Because sometimes I'll be doing something with this and then my machine will just like, it's like, girl, what is that? You know better than that. I remember once, not on this machine, but my serger, I actually like sewed over a needle on my serger and the blade that cuts the fabric flew right past my face. It was the most mortifying thing I had ever experienced while working on something. And my husband was freaked out too because he was like, okay, you know what? Like if you're going to work on something, you have to wear some goggles while you're doing it because that's not okay. And I refused to do that. But yeah, that was some pretty horrifying stuff. Okay, so the side pieces are on, guys. So here's how we're looking. Doesn't look too bad. That's great. That's scary. Yeah, it was very scary. I had to like, I paused because I was just like, did that really just like fly past my face? And I'm just like, just a couple of centimeters more, guys, and I would have been in some real trouble. So I'm very careful now to like, when I'm using my serger, especially because if you've ever used a serger, it's very loud and it's very scary and it's very quick. So I have to sew very slowly when I'm using my serger because like don't get a pin in your serger, guys. Don't be like me. Like it was quite the experience and it made me not want to touch my machine. Okay. So now that we've done step 5, step 6 is pin middle back to back. No, wait, we did that. I'm sorry. Now it says pin side back 6 to, hold up. I'm so sorry. We are at step 6, pin middle back 4 to back 5. So we need pieces 4 and 5. So that is this piece and this piece. We're going to pin those pieces together. Okay. So we actually have 4 pieces in total now. So let's take the pins out of this one. Piece up here for now. Okay, and then we're going to take. Oh my gosh, guys, we're almost done with the mock-up. I'm kind of nervous. Not really, but I'm happy because we'll get to see how this fits. But I'm nervous because I'm just like, oh my gosh, like what if I can't do it? What if this pattern is the one pattern that I can't work with? Okay. Oh my God. Okay, so taking piece 4, we're gonna sew. Do piece 6. Okay, I think it wants me to pin it on the side here. Oh my gosh, some of the sides of these pieces start to look the same to me, guys. That's dangerous. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me pull this piece back over here. Make sure I got the right thing. Okay, I'll just leave that here. Okay, I think I figured it out. I think the hardest part for me is that when you turn a piece over, it's just like the piece is like so much longer. Like just for like you, so you guys can see. Do you see how like these two pieces are like nowhere near the same size? So sometimes I see things like that in the pattern. I'm just like, hold up, did I cut this all the way wrong? But then it's just my eyes playing tricks on me. And also sometimes the pattern itself, like the pattern instructions will be weird and it just won't be clear, or it just takes me a little while to understand. So what you saw was one of those moments where I was reading a pattern and I was just like, what? You're gonna see some of that a lot, guys. And you know what? That is authentically me. That's just what happens when I'm making something. I literally gotta read something like a couple of times before I understand exactly what the pattern is asking me to do. And you know what? I'm happy to let you guys see it because that's what it is. Like that's what it's like when I'm making something, you know, and I'm just reading the instructions. And I think that's what's confusing to a lot of people too when they're using a pattern, because sometimes they don't understand what the pattern is asking of them. I have my moments like that too, but you know, just take a moment and try to like analyze like, okay, does this make sense? If not, how do I make it make sense? So I hope I'm making this make sense right now. I'm not 100% sure. I'm like 95% sure. Because even the pattern instruction, you know what it is? Let's see if I can show it to you guys, so that you guys understand like what it is that I'm going through. So in this section right here, oh my God, it's like impossible to see. I'm sorry, guys. In this section right here, it's asking me to pin piece 6. And I'm doing that, but I'm just not sure which side of piece 6 I'm supposed to pin to what side. So I'm just like, what are you talking about? But I figured out, and you guys will figure it out too. Sewing can be such a frustrating thing to do sometimes because you sometimes think you know what you're doing and then it's just like, you don't. I've had many situations like that before, but that's how I got better. And like all I can say, guys, is just keep trying. Like please, if you have a sewing machine at home, like please try. Chibi Jirachi. I'm glad I'm not the only one to get burned. Yeah, some patterns can be confusing. I have a pattern for a crop top, which the pattern itself was a 1940s reprint. So the instructions literally came from the 1940s, and it took me a while to figure it out. I'm just like, girl, what? Like, what does that mean? So yeah, I've had my moments when it's come to that, guys, and it's completely okay to like have moments like that. There's nothing at all like wrong with you. It happens to every seamstress that like uses a pattern. So you're not alone and you're not foolish or anything like that. And you will learn how to do this. It's not hard. So I have successfully pinned, which pieces are these? I have successfully pinned piece number 4 to number 5. I've done that. So I'm just going to go ahead and stitch these together with my machine here. And we will move along. Spectrum. These solo are such a great idea. Can't wait to learn more. Yes, I'm really doing this because like I really want it sounds weird, but you know what? I'm gonna say it every way anyway. I really want to give something that I wish that I had when I first started making things and stuff, because I didn't have anyone to like show me like how to do certain things and stuff. And we live in this wonderful age too where you can find out information at like just a couple of clicks, and I love that we live in a time like that, and I want to be able to like offer those things to people. And I chose like patterns that I felt were beginner friendly because patterns exist for a reason, and I really feel like more people should utilize them, especially because listen, like back when I first started cosplaying, we didn't have like patterns for these things. But if you go on McCall's website right now, like seriously, go on your phone and just go to McCall's website. You can find a pattern for Todoroki's costume from My Hero Academia. That's how far we've come when it comes to like sewing for cosplay and just like companies offering different patterns for things. So I love that we live in that kind of time, and I really want more people to like get into that. I'm a bit of a slow learner. It would take me much longer to catch on to this. You know what? That is completely okay, and that's completely valid. And that's totally fine to recognize as long as it doesn't stop you from actually trying. And I say that because I'm very slow to learn things too. I have dyslexia, which is a learning disability. So sometimes things that are really simple for other people, it'll take me, a little while to understand it myself. And there's still not there, I still don't know a lot about like dyslexia in general, but it takes me some time to learn certain things. So okay, so let's see how this looks. The back pieces, they look like they make sense, but do they make sense? Okay, so let's see. Aha, I made a mistake. I'm really happy I get to show this to you guys. So I basically did what I did for one side to the other side. However, it did not come out correctly. I'm really happy I get to, this is the most excited I've ever been to make a mistake, because I really want you guys to see that like as much as I make things, as often as I make things, as nice as my things come out, I still make mistakes behind the scenes. Got another one for you guys. I still make mistakes that, you guys don't get to see any of that. So what happened here is that this part is done correctly. The parts are supposed to match up like this. However, on the correct side, I have the side seam here. And so it lays flat like this. But on the other side, it's backwards. So on this side, this is incorrect. Because what happens now is that I have two pieces that don't match up. So you see how this one is like the smooth side, there's no seam. And this one has the seam on the outside. It was not correct. So I messed up. which is fine. It happens. And here you guys see my very first stream, it happened. And that's great because now I get to show you guys how to correct it. And I get to show you guys how I correct that. And I see that we only have 10 minutes left of the stream. So I'm actually going to show you guys how to correct this issue. We're going to correct this issue on Thursday. Thursday at 7 p.m. we will come back to correct this issue. Let's see. Yeah, I was doing pretty well until I hit that point. So like once again, like it's smooth on this side and then the seam is showing on the other end. But when put together with the other back piece, it's incorrect. So this one was sewn correctly. This one, however, wasn't. So we will be fixing that soon. But as you can see, it's super easy to make mistakes when you're sewing something. And that goes to show you guys that I am not a pro at this. I'm just sharing what I know. But I'm really happy that I made this mistake because Thursday is when I'll show you how to get it right. Once upon a time when I first started making things, I used to be so upset with myself for making mistakes. But now I'm just like, you know what? You live and learn. You let it roll off your back. And I'm actually excited that I made a mistake with this pattern only because this is the second time that I'm working with this pattern. The first time I worked with this pattern, I didn't even get this far, guys. I literally started doing like the front and I just couldn't get it to look right. It just didn't like come out the way that it was supposed to. One piece was larger than the other. I didn't know. Yes, my seam ripper is my favorite sewing tool. It's my favorite sewing tool. But I actually think I want to give you guys a little bit of a tutorial on how to use a seam ripper because I've had people use seam rippers and then they accidentally put a hole in their project. So I'm actually going to show you guys how I get around doing that and how I prevent that. I've used my seam ripper on many fabrics, silks, satins. Actually, on my Mew Ichigo costume, I used my seam ripper a lot, but the way that I used it, I was able to do so in a way that even on the finished garment, you would not have detected any type of issue with it on the outside of the garment and on the inside. So I'll be able to show that trick to you guys this week. But this is my second time using this pattern. I didn't even get this far. I started on the front, it didn't come out right. I gave up. And I attribute that because I didn't know my measurements. I didn't know how to take measurements. And I didn't know about the measurements that one should know for a corset. And that is that a corset should be 1 to 2 inches smaller than your actual body measurement because the whole point of the corset is to kind of cinch your waist. And so if you make a corset that is the exact same measurements as your body, you're not going to actually be able to get that cinching effect that people look for when it comes to corsets, because that's what you want when you wear one. And if you don't, that's totally fine too. But in order to get a corset to fit properly, it needs to be 1 to 2 inches smaller than your actual measurement. So when it comes to making one too, it's always good to look at the finished measurements of your pattern just to figure out where you are. Or you can look at the top measurements that they give you, and then you can size down from there. So normally, based on my measurements, I would be a size 12. But for this corset, I'm actually making a size 8, just because I really want to have that cinching effect. And when you make something like this directly, related to like your sizing without sizing down, what happens is that when you put the laces on the back of the corset, they touch or they may overlap because the corset's too big. A corset should never close completely in the back. There should always be a little bit of space between the two back pieces. That's how you know that you got a really good fit. And yeah, so I'm really digging this pattern because I feel challenged. So if you do decide that you want to follow along, I will leave all the products in the description box below where you can get some of these items. And if there's anything that you've been making or you've been wanting to make, or you might want to see me make on this channel, please let me know because I'm already looking. I already have some ideas for like the next couple of items that we're making. Like I think we're gonna make a shirt. We're gonna make some lingerie, which will be really, really cute. We'll make bonnets because everybody needs one. I know that I use a bonnet every night. And we'll make some items that we can wear, not just for cosplay. Because the greatest thing about this stream and what I have planned for it is that every item that we make, if you want to use it for cosplay, you can do that. Like this corset, while I'm making it for fashion out of some Sailor Moon fabric, you could by all means use this same pattern for, like, let's say a Disney princess Rapunzel corset, or any other Disney princess for that matter. So my goal with this stream is to show you guys how to make, for the most part, everyday items that you can wear on a regular basis, but also something that, if you like the pattern that much, if you have success with it and you get to see how I do it, you can then go on and use it for cosplay. That way, the stream is dual purpose. I'm showing you how to make things, for yourself, but these skills can also translate over into the cosplays that you make, because I know for myself, I already want to use this possibly for like a Princess Ariel corset. If you guys remember that really cute seafoam green or greenish blue dress that she has in the movie, or sometimes the little figures that you see online. I know that I eventually want to do that costume, and I do want to have like a nice little corset top for that. So if I can figure this out for my little Sailor Moon project there, then the sky's the limit. And the sky is the limit with like all types of corsets. I do have a corset pattern that I highly, highly, highly recommend. It's by Simplicity. I used it for my BioShock Elizabeth cosplay. I used it for my I don't know what type of, I guess a satyr or something like that. I have a blue outfit in which like, I have some horns and a corset and a skirt, and I use that pattern for, I think I've used that Simplicity pattern maybe like 3 times now to make a corset. So if you guys are interested in that, definitely visit my Instagram. I have like a little bit of a review on my Instagram all about it, or you can visit my blog Casually Kia to get the details on that. But I've used that corset pattern 3 times now. So in the event that this pattern doesn't work out, I can't get it to work, I am definitely going to jump ship and go for that other pattern back there. Okay. I'm going to have a corset top, whether it's with this pattern or another one, I will have my top. That's not going to change at all. Doesn't matter what pattern I use to get there. But I really want to use this pattern because I've used it previously. I didn't get it right the first time. So I'm really ready to challenge it. It'll be like the last, my last hurrah of the year. Like, okay, I overcame this and was able to make it. So I'm very excited about that. But stream is ending very soon, guys. I'm really happy that you all came to see my stream, and I'm really happy that we got to experience our first failure to get. Well, you know what? Not failure, because I didn't fail. I'm still in the game, but I'm happy that we got to experience my first error together, because you can see how easily that happened. And so if this ever happens to you at home, regardless of what pattern that you use, it doesn't mean that you can't do it or that you're not capable, because you most certainly can. It just means you need a little bit of practice, reading patterns and things of that nature. But you can do this, and you will do this, because if you don't do this, and you still find that even after watching me that you're still unable to do this, then that means I'm a bad teacher. And I don't want to be a bad teacher, guys. I want to be a good teacher, and I want to make sure that I'm inspiring you guys to try new things and explore your creativity using the needle and thread. So you did a good job. I've been sewing for a while. I make mistakes. So very proud of you. Thank you so much, Floral Diamond. I really do appreciate that. Sometimes making mistakes for me, it's like really hard. So I'm just like, oh gosh, like this is such, I feel like this is such a simple mistake. But you know what? Maybe it's not, because to someone else out there, this is, something that was very confusing. It was confusing for me. And, I'm not afraid to admit that. I'm not afraid to show you guys that. So if you're just tuning in, you can actually see it from here, how like I got this little flap sticking up here, but then like this piece right here is all nice and flush. I actually sewed this piece here incorrectly. It's a little backwards, actually. So, because basically what it's supposed to look like is not even that, actually. It's supposed to, oh gosh, guys. Yeah, I had it right the first time. See, it's supposed to look like this, like for the back piece. So yeah, we'll be fixing this mistake this Thursday at 7 o'clock, and so I'm really excited to see you guys there. So after this, I'm actually going to put this project away, because we're actually going to work on this together, and we'll come back to it on Thursday. And we'll get it right, and we'll move on to the next step in making the mock-up for this project. So I really, 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 really do appreciate you guys coming in to see me tonight. It's been a blast, and I will see you guys on Thursday at 7 p.m. Have a good night, guys.